Hello, I'm Danny DeLillo and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Moviemaker magazine. We're here at the Cambridge Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood and I'm here with Ben K. Coles with his movie Stalemate. Let's take a look at a clip.
There was this cartoon in a magazine. There was a man holding a ball and a crowd clapping them on. The real honour is on another film.
I have a feeling that you have not yet missed your chance to be a hero, to play the greater game.
The greater game.
Hey Ben, it's great to have you here in the studio.
Yeah, great to be here.
Tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
Well, Stalemate is a look at the Christmas truce of 1914. It's quite a famous historical event during the First World War where German soldiers and British soldiers on Christmas Day came out of the trench and had a day of peace. Famously, there was a football match or a soccer match in the middle of no man's land, and I thought it was a really interesting story that we could pick apart and look at the details of that and try and imagine what it would feel like to be in that situation.
Well, I mean, I'm so pleased that you did this story because I remember learning about this in school and being like, they had a football game, but they hated each other. Where was your inspiration to making this film?
Well, I think that's the interesting thing, really, because they didn't hate each other.
No,
of course
exactly.
They didn't.
Yeah.
And that was and being Christmas Day was even made that even more poignant because they were all told, all the propaganda around was saying that it would be over by Christmas. This is the day the war was meant to be over. And I think it really brought it down to earth for all of the soldiers there, that they realised that it wasn't an impersonal thing. It was it wasn't an impersonal war. It was very impersonal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a grudge between people. It was a grudge between nations.
It's real people. I mean, just going to fight wars for their country, wasn't it?
Exactly, Exactly.
I mean, I just love the fact you just did this story, and I mean, what did you did you want to your audience to kind of learn something about this? Because the fact is, it's like football kind of on Christmas Day brought these guys together, which is incredible.
I mean, yeah, but for me, it was never really the historical significance of it. It was always it's a people story, a story about people, and that's the interesting part for me, and that's why we decided to make it. It wasn't necessarily about the history, which is fascinating, and that just gives you a fantastic backdrop to film on. But it was more about the people and the emotions of what it would feel like, because I think that particular story in the media and people sort of perceive it as this very happy, merry event where it's look how beautiful that day was, where it must have been actually quite a morbid, miserable event, quite surreal, because in the back of their mind they must have all known that in the next few days they're going to have to go back and shoot at each other. They know that's going to have to happen. They know
it's incredible. I mean, you really captured some amazing moments in the film.
Thank you.
It was, I mean, the acting, you had to really have some fantastic actors to kind of take on that role. How was your casting process?
Well, we actually knew the British actor in the film. We'd known him, we'd worked with him before on a few things, and we got to know him quite well. And I think he was perfect for it because he had a real vulnerability about him. He felt quite vulnerable, and that's exactly what we needed, because he had to come across quite distant, but still likable, which is quite a hard balance to draw, I think. And so he worked really well for that. And we also felt for the role of the German, we needed a German actor because everything could be perfect.
Get that humour in,
But if the accent was wrong and it was just off a beat, it could kill everything.
Of course.
We found a local German actor who's very likable.
Yeah.
I think we needed that character.
He's a great character, isn't he?
Yeah, really likable, very friendly, and he was naturally very friendly and very likable. So he was absolutely perfect.
So how do you, in independent filmmaking, capture the authenticity of 1914?
Mainly, I think a lot of it is in the costume. A lot of it's knowing your history. You have to know the history. So we did a lot of research into what it would have been like. We had people on the crew who really knew what they're doing. So the wardrobe department had a lot of historical knowledge. They'd worked on things before, so we could get the details right. The devil's in the detail.
Yeah,
so it was all in the detail.
And the colours of the cinematography was just so
a lot of it
vivid,
colour grade as well was really to get it feeling quite almost like a documentary. And one of the hardest things I think was to do, because when you direct something, you shoot something, you want to be quite creative with the photography. And it was to sort of try our best to pull that back. Keep it as simple as physically possible and just let the drama tell the story.
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things, I think, because you intuitively want to get a nice dolly and get a jib and make it look stunning, but when we
it's funny how you it's funny how you mentioned documentary, because I actually almost like I felt like I was on that trench, you know, I just kind of going through this experience, and I was like, you know, it just because it's such an incredible story. What was, I mean, you've mentioned a few things, but what was your kind of biggest challenge making this film?
Biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Costumes.
Costumes
Was the biggest challenge, because we looked around quite a lot for different places to get costumes, and we found that obviously writing was difficult as well, but that was such a lengthy process. The costumes were the things that really was so difficult. That they wouldn't just be wearing their uniforms, so we couldn't go out and just hire uniforms. This was a casual a day. They weren't in uniform, so to find things like shirts and scarves and gloves and coats.
And you have to really be detailed, don't you?
We did have to be quite detailed. And we did fudge a few things and kept those sort of in the background.
Yeah, no, of course, no, absolutely.
But most of it, was quite accurate. And that was such a challenge when it came to the actual production, such a challenge.
And what was it like after, you know, you've made this incredible film and you've gone through, you know, pre and making it and the post-production, and then to have your film selected for New Filmmakers Los Angeles as a Brit as well?
It's surreal. And when I got the email, it was like, oh, more spam. So it was that kind of feeling. But you know, it's great, and it feels really good, especially after you worked on something for so long, to have some sort of recognition that it's not terrible. Because you feel like every time you watch something, you think,
people like it. This is great.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah,
it does feel great to know that actual people respond to it, they're interested in it, they like it, and all your effort wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, well, for those that haven't seen it, it's a really wonderful film, and it's just a great story, and it's just so beautifully made as well. Now you're from Manchester. No, you're living in Manchester.
That's right. Yes.
But he's a Yorkshire boy, which is where all the nice people of Britain come from. Just so you know. And you're an editor there.
I am. I'm an editor. Yeah, that's my day job. I spend most of my time editing, which definitely helps.
Which is why it was so well edited, right?
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. But no, thank you. But
well, the editors are the unsung hero
I think so.
I mean, it's without an editor, like, you know, we wouldn't
take
even
the mess the directors make. I could take my own mess and fix it.
There you go. See, there you go. So
because I shot the film as well, and doing that, I'm not
multi-talented.
I'm
You're
not
like triple threat, aren't you?
I'm average at most things.
Well, the film doesn't look average, so
thank you.
You know, you did a really good job. So do you have any plans maybe to do some more work maybe in Hollywood and in Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as much as possible.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do, and I'm going to put as much effort and time into it as I can to do.
So you've got to keep him here, okay? So I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, if you'll have me.
What's next for you, Ben?
Next, we've got another short film coming up that I think we're working on as well, and a feature as well, which we've got in the works, which is the big challenge on the horizon. But
is it same kind of genre, or are you moving?
Not at all. We don't really have any sort of genre limits.
Oh, great!
Any film that engages people and makes you think.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Well, listen, congratulations on your film.
Thank you very much.
You did a wonderful job, and we look forward to seeing the screen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.